Before we begin, if you truly care about your loved ones and want to understand the signs your heart may not be ready to face, take a moment to subscribe to this channel and turn on the bell icon, because the truth you're about to hear could help you cherish the time you still have. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever looked at someone you love and felt like something was changing, but you couldn't quite explain what it was? Not something obvious, not something dramatic, just small things. A little less energy, a little less appetite, a little more silence. And you told yourself, it's just aging, it's normal. But what if it's more than that? What if your loved one's body is quietly trying to tell you something, long before words ever could? Because here's the truth most people don't talk about. The body rarely shuts down suddenly. It whispers first. It sends signals weeks, months, sometimes even a year in advance. And if you understand those signals, you don't just prepare, you connect, you appreciate, you make every moment count. Let's begin with one of the first signs, a quiet, unexpected weight loss. At first, it doesn't seem serious. Clothes feel a bit loose, meals get smaller, appetite fades slightly. You might even think, maybe it's good, they're eating lighter. But this is where many people miss the truth. Because when the body starts losing weight without trying, it's not always about food. It's about energy. The body is slowly changing how it uses fuel. Muscles begin to weaken. Strength slowly fades. And even if you try to encourage more eating, something feels different. Because it is. This isn't just a habit change. It's the body beginning to slow down. Now let's talk about something even more visible. A deep, unshakable fatigue. Not the kind of tiredness you fix with rest. This is different. It's waking up tired, walking a few steps, and needing to sit down, feeling exhausted, even after doing almost nothing. Simple tasks start to feel heavy. Getting out of bed, getting dressed, even holding a conversation. And for the person experiencing it, it's frustrating, because inside, they still feel like themselves, but their body doesn't respond the same way. And here's what's really happening. The body is conserving energy, not for activity, but for survival. It begins prioritizing only the most essential functions, and everything else starts to slow down. Now here's something that touches even deeper. Changes in the mind. You may notice small things at first. Forgetting names, repeating questions, losing track of time. But then, something else appears. Silence. A person who once loved talking starts speaking less. A person who enjoyed company starts withdrawing. Not because they don't care, but because something inside is shifting. Conversations become tiring. Noise becomes overwhelming. And slowly, they begin to retreat into themselves. For families, this can be one of the hardest things to watch, because it feels like you're losing them, even while they're still here. But it's important to understand, they are not choosing this. Their mind is simply changing its pace. And sometimes, presence matters more than words. Now let's talk about something physical again. The body's ability to fight back begins to weaken. You may notice more frequent illnesses. A simple cold lasts longer. A small wound takes more time to heal. Infections become more common. And you might wonder, why is this happening now? Because the body's defense system is no longer as strong as it once was. It's not failing, it's just slowing down. And these small health issues are not always separate problems. They are signs that the body is gradually losing its strength. And when you begin to see all of these together, weight loss, fatigue, mental changes, frequent illness, you start to understand something deeper. This is not random. This is a process, a quiet, gradual transition, changes in breathing and circulation. At first, it may be subtle. Breathing becomes a little slower, sometimes uneven, sometimes deeper, then suddenly shallow again. You may notice pauses between breaths, moments where it feels like time stops, and then gently continues. And in those moments, your heart feels it too, because something inside you knows. This is not just normal tiredness. This is the body beginning to let go. You might also notice something else: hands and feet becoming colder, skin changing color, slightly pale or bluish. These are not random changes. They are signs that the body is redirecting its energy, focusing only on what is most essential. The heart slows, circulation weakens, and the body begins to prepare in its own quiet way. For many families, this stage can feel overwhelming. You may feel helpless. You may want to fix it, to stop it, to bring things back to how they were. But here's the truth. This is not something to fight. This is something to understand. Because at this stage, what your loved one needs most is not more treatment. It's more comfort, more peace, more presence. Now, let's pause for a moment. Take a deep breath. Because what we're talking about here is not just about physical signs. It's about something deeper. It's about life and its natural cycle. We spend so much of our lives trying to control everything, to fix problems, to prevent loss, to hold on. But there comes a time when life asks us to do something different. Not to control, but to accept. Not to fix, but to be present. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply sit beside someone, hold their hand, and let them feel that they are not alone. Now, let me tell you something important. If you are noticing these signs in someone you love, don't ignore them, but also don't panic. Instead, be aware, be gentle, be present. Talk to them. Even if they don't respond the same way, they can still feel your presence, your voice, your touch, your love. These things matter more than anything else. And here's something many people realize too late. It's not the big moments that matter most in the end. It's the small ones. A quiet conversation, a shared memory, a simple, "I'm here." These are the moments that stay. These are the moments that matter. Now ask yourself, if you knew time was limited, what would you do differently? Would you spend more time together? Would you speak more openly? Would you say the things you've been holding inside? Because awareness gives you something powerful. Choice. The choice to cherish, to connect, to be present while you still can. And that is a gift, not just for them, but for you. Because one day, you won't remember the medical details. You won't remember the exact timeline. But you will remember how you showed up, how you cared, how you loved. So if you take one thing from this video, let it be this. These signs are not just about the end of life. They are about the value of the time that remains. And that time is precious. So don't wait. Be there. Be present. Be loving. Because in the end, that's what truly matters. Thanks for watching.